Hey, what's up? I got a 2-round mock draft for all of you football fans out there. It's pretty long, so I'll just kind of get to it and get a little bit into depth on each pick. Number one is the Browns. I got them selecting Josh Allen out of Wyoming. Actually, this is one I would do, but I think this is what they're going to do, and I don't know. I think they're just gonna take Josh Allen, and nothing really is going to change for that team. Which puts the Giants in a place for number two to go ahead and select Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold is kind of the safest choice out of all these quarterbacks right now. But yeah, the Jets are going to select Josh Rosen. You traded up, you got to take a quarterback, even if it's not the one you wanted, really. But yeah, they're going to take Josh Rosen. We got Cleveland again here. They are going to go ahead and take Quentin Nelson. They no longer have Joe Thomas, so they need to protect Tyrod for a year and let Josh Allen develop over time. Denver Broncos, I got them selecting Baker Mayfield. The reason Case Keenum was good, and me being a Viking fan, knows that it was Pat Shurmur. Before that, he just never really had the right mentor for good guidance. Hopefully you can use that and do well, because I actually really do like Case Keenum. I kind of wish we would have kept him on the Vikings, but understand it's a business. Next, Indianapolis. I got them selecting Bradley Chubb, the best defensive player in the draft right here. They need a lot of help on defense. They need a lot of help on that offensive line, too. The reason that this team isn't a joke right now is because of Andrew Luck, and who knows if he'll be back. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers find themselves in like the best case scenario. They're gonna get Saquon Barkley here, and that division is gonna be. I think that's gonna be the most fun division to watch this next year if this happens, because you got Kamara, then you got Freeman, McCaffrey, and now you got Saquon Barkley, and you got four pretty solid quarterbacks too. The Chicago Bears, they are going to go ahead and take Minkah Fitzpatrick here. They need a lot of help in that secondary. He's the most versatile player to help them out to see what would be the best fit for the strongest need in their secondary. Got the 49ers then selecting Derwin James. I think they're trying to do a little Seattle Seahawk type move with Sherman. Now they're going to get Derwin James to be their Richard Sherman, or their Cam Chancellor. It's I don't know. That's going to be a interesting division to see who's going to win it between the Niners and the Rams. I've got the Oakland Raiders up next. They are going to get very lucky and get Tremaine Edmonds right here. Yeah, I know John Gruden's going to select it. I actually don't think Oakland's going to be all that good of a team this next year, but I could be very wrong. I think the Chargers are going to win it, but we'll get to the Chargers later. And here we have my first trade. I have the Green Bay Packers trading with the Miami Dolphins to go up and select Denzel Ward. And I absolutely like this pick. I'm a Vikings fan, so I didn't want to be biased in this mock that I was doing, but I actually think that Green Bay going up and getting Denzel Ward is it's gonna help them so much in the long run. And you know they're trading with Miami, so Miami's getting the 14th pick instead of the 11th, and they're also getting the 76th overall pick this year too. So not too much to give up, just to go up and get the best corner in the draft, and who knows, he could be the defensive player of the year just like Marshawn Lattimore was last year. Buffalo, a lot of people have Buffalo selecting Lamar Jackson, and I do not think Lamar Jackson is a good fit in Buffalo. We'll get to where I have Lamar Jackson here in a little bit, but I got them go ahead and selecting Roquan Smith. I think this is a perfect situation right here to, really just focus on their defense and their run game, try and get after Tom Brady. They're not a bad team. The Bills are not a bad team. They made it to the playoffs last year. Just their quarterback is the only thing they really got. That kind of worries me. I got the Washington Redskins selecting Vita Vea. He's going to play alongside that Jonathan Allen, and they're going to have a pretty solid defensive line next year. Washington might be a sleeper for that division, but who knows? They still got a lot of work to do on defense. All right, so now Miami now traded back, and this is why I think it makes sense for both teams. They are going to select Harold Landry, and yes, he is not a better pass rusher than Marcus Davenport. I understand that, but this guy is the best, like, complete defensive end in the draft, even better than Bradley Chubb, because this guy knows how to drop into coverage. And what do the Patriots do? They love throwing screenplays to guys like James White or Dion Lewis, and this guy is going to be ready to make the Patriots pay. I think it's clearly the best choice right there. I've got the Arizona Cardinals selecting Mike McGlinchey. They got a couple of veteran quarterbacks. I don't think Lamar Jackson's really a good fit for Arizona either. But yeah, I'm gonna give them who I think is the best tackle in the draft to help protect Sam Bradford, because Sam Bradford can stay healthy. He's a good quarterback. He just can't stay healthy. Oh man. So here's my next trade alert. So normally the Baltimore Ravens would be seeing themselves in a situation where they could take Calvin Ridley. But they are going to trade all the way back to the 31st pick with the New England Patriots. And Baltimore is going to receive the 31st pick, obviously. They're going to receive the 63rd pick, so they're going to get another second-round pick from the Patriots, and the 210th pick, so they'll get a sixth-round pick as well. New England will go up, and they are going to select Marcus Davenport. And now, they were lacking that in the Super Bowl. That's why they lost the Super Bowl. They could not get after Nick Foles. And for some reason, Belichick won't ever let us know why Malcolm Butler was never played, but oh well. Patriots have a lot of picks, though. It's pretty crazy. But I think it's worth it to give up one of their second-round picks to go and select this guy, because there's not a lot of pass rushers like that guy. I next have the LA Chargers selecting Justin Reed, the safety. Chargers have some good corners, and they've got some decent pass rushers. Forrest Lamp is coming back, so I kind of want to see how he works for the offensive line, so I didn't want to give him an offensive lineman here. I figured the bolster those safeties. You've got guys like Emmanuel Sanders, Jordy Nelson, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill. Like, you gotta defend these guys in your division, and I think the Chargers are gonna win it this year. For their division, that is, not the Super Bowl. No, they might go to the AFC Championship and play the Patriots, but I don't know. Now Seattle, this is so crazy to me that they need so much help, like, on defense and on their offensive line, but they're not going to go offensive line, because Russell Wilson is the best at what he does, which is escaping getting sacked. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to select Josh Jackson, because for some reason he's fallen to them. They don't have Sherman. They don't have, what was that other guy's name? Like, Shed? I can't remember his name. Can't remember if they still have Chancellor or not. I think they do. I haven't heard anything, but they have Earl Thomas. He'll be a great mentor to Josh Jackson. I think it's a good fit. Now, right here is my favorite trade in the draft. We have the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to trade back to the 29th pick, and Jacksonville's going to come up to the 19th pick here. Dallas is going to receive the 29th pick, the 61st overall pick, and 129th overall pick. And Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go ahead and select Lamar Jackson here. I love this so much. He's got so much time to develop. move on from Blake Bortles. He is not your answer. Lamar Jackson is. Even if he doesn't play quarterback this year, he can play as a wide receiver. This guy is so talented, so athletic. And Deshaun Watson actually said he did not want this guy playing in his division because he didn't want to play him twice a year. So I think there's a little fear in Lamar Jackson for some people. I've got Detroit up next. They're gonna go ahead and select Deron Payne. Got rid of Haloti Ngata, so just gonna try and help out that defense. Even though I think Detroit's gonna be awful with Matt Patricia. He's not a good coordinator. He's not a good coach. He was just lucky he was on the Patriots and Tom Brady and Belichick. He got to ride their coattails. But yeah, I think Detroit's gonna be pretty bad this year. I've got the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Connor Williams. They need to select as many offensive linemen as they can in this draft, because that was just terrible last year. Buffalo, Lamar Jackson's not on the board. But that's okay, because now they are going to go ahead, they're going to help out A.J. McCarron. They're going to go ahead and select who I think is the best receiver in this draft, which is DJ Moore. This guy has Stephon Diggs written all over him, just a little bigger, maybe not as complete as a route runner, but I think that's the right call. You got Zay Jones. Kelvin Benjamin's not your answer in Buffalo. Maybe in the red zone, but that's about it. Where DJ Moore is going to be able to open up the space a lot more. Next, we have New England Patriots selecting Colton Miller. This guy probably isn't going to play the first year. But they don't have Nate Soldier. He could be a backup. I think he could play in 2019 for them and be their starting left tackle. Carolina is going to go ahead. They really wanted Justin Reed here, which is kind of sad, but that's why you got to trade up if you want a guy. But they're going to go ahead and select Mike Hughes and try and get that Josh Norman thing going back when they almost won the Super Bowl. So yeah. I then have the Tennessee Titans selecting Lorenzo Carter. And I might be mistaken here, but I believe this is the guy that tore up Notre Dame. And you got guys like Mike McGlinchey and Quentin Nelson, two of the best offensive linemen in this draft. So I think there's something to be said about this guy, and I think he's worthy of the 25th overall pick. I've got the Atlanta Falcons selecting Taven Bryan right here. They don't have Don Terry Poe. They gotta stop Alvin Kamara. If Saquon Barkley goes there, they gotta have an answer for him. They have a good offense. Their defense just needs a little bit of help on pass rushing and rotating, and I think Atlanta can be back to where they were. Next, we have New Orleans here. I didn't realize New Orleans really doesn't have a lot of picks in this draft. They're going to select Sam Hubbard. They're going to help out Cameron Jordan. He can't do it all. The guy's a phenomenal pass rusher, but they're going to get some help on the other side. Their secondary is finally looking good. Their defense is finally looking good, and they got that running game. I think this is absolutely the right call, and I think maybe later go ahead and select a tight end, but won't be for a couple more rounds. Here I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Darius Geis. Le'Veon Bell is he's being unreasonable right now. I think Steelers just need to move on from him and take Geis here. See what you can do. Save some money, maybe next offseason, get somebody to replace Ryan Shazier. Yeah, I think he's just too talented of a guy to pass up there. Now we got Dallas back here, who traded there, and they wanted DJ Moore. They don't have Dez Bryant, but they're okay. They had their eye on another guy, and they're going to go ahead and select who I think is the second best wide receiver here in Courtland Sutton. This guy can light up the field. I mean, this guy is gonna light up Dallas. I'm excited for it. And next we have my Minnesota Vikings with their first pick here, we are going to go ahead and select Isaiah Wynn to replace Joe Berger and protect Kirk Cousins. And, this probably won't happen in the real draft. It's a little fan fiction right now. We're probably going to end up with someone like James Daniels or Will Hernandez instead, which I'd be okay with still. But if we could get Isaiah Wynn, my goodness, I would love that. And here we had Baltimore trading back here, and they're going to try and do what they did when they won the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis. Obviously, there's not going to be another Ray Lewis. I thought Reuben Foster would have been, but he's got some issues he's got to work out. But they're going to go ahead and select Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise State. They have Terrell Suggs. I think they still have C.J. Mosley. They're gonna have a good linebacking duel there. I think they got what's that guy? The guy from the Chargers, Eric Weddle in the secondary. Marlon Humphrey, Jimmy Smith. As long as what's his name? Brandon something. He's a defensive tackle. They're gonna be a good team this year. Baltimore Ravens, I think. Bold prediction, I think they're going to win the division. I think they're going to beat up the Steelers this year, strictly on the Ryan Shazier and Ben Roethlisberger just being fragile. I think the Baltimore is going to win it, just like I think San Diego is going to win it for the AFC West. Philadelphia right here is going to go ahead and select Maurice Hurst. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl last year by having fresh legs. Get some more fresh legs. Carson Wentz will be back a little later. In the meantime, Nick Foles. And I kind of hate saying it because I really hate Philadelphia. Not the team, just the fans. They were throwing full beer cans at our fans. And we didn't even do anything. I just feel bad because I'm a big Carson Wentz fan, and yeah, I don't really know. Cleveland is now on the clock for round 2, and I have them selecting Isaiah Oliver. You don't have Joe Hayden. You need help. You already kind of helped yourself on the offense with Josh Allen and Quentin Nelson. You got Carlos Hyde. You got Jarvis Landry, Corey Coleman, Njoku, and Josh Gordon if he can get his head together. So I think they're pretty good on offense right now. I now have the New York Giants, who selected Sam Darnold in the first round, going ahead and selecting Sony Michel. I love this running back. He reminds me of Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara in so many ways. I don't think he's going to be as productive as they were their rookie years, but this is exactly what they need in New York with Odell Beckham Jr., Evan Ingram, and Sterling Shepard. They need a running back that can take pressure off those guys, open up the field. Sony Michel is going to help out this team so much, and I actually think if this happens, they are going to have the best chance to beat the Eagles in that division. But I don't know. We'll see. Next, we have another trade. Denver is calling Cleveland right now, and they're noticing Indianapolis has 2 picks back to back. They want a guard. They want a guard so bad to protect Case Keenum or Baker Mayfield, whoever ends up playing this year. Probably going to be Case, and Baker will probably just develop and whatnot. But they will receive the 40th overall pick, the Browns this is, the 99th overall pick, and the 149th overall pick from Denver. And Denver's going to select Will Hernandez here. I think it's just a smart choice here. You gotta protect, gotta create some lanes for C.J. Anderson, and I think it's just the right call here. Now we have Indianapolis. They wanted Will Hernandez really badly, so they're a little salty right now. We just got Bradley Chubb in round 1. We need to help this offensive line. We need to. We are going to select, with our 36th and 37th pick, 36, James Daniels, 37, Billy Price. they're going to get as much help. They are all in on this offensive line this year. If Andrew Luck comes back, they now have a shot not only to win the division but to beat the Patriots. Because now they're going to give Andrew Luck time in the pocket to find T.Y. Hilton, to find Jack Doyle, to find Kamar Aiken. I can't even remember who's all on the roster. But, yeah, 2 guards, and I guess it's going to be a competition to see who's on that line. Or, one of them could get hurt. Billy Price is dealing with a pec injury right now, but my Vikings selected Pat Elflein in the 3rd round, and just because these guys are centers doesn't mean they can't play guard, like, for crying out loud. Tampa Bay is going to select Rashaan Evans here, and I don't like this guy at all. I don't like his character. I don't think he's all that good, but he's from Alabama, so he's going to get hyped. And they need to get after Drew Brees. They need to get after Matt Ryan. They need to get after Cam Newton. Like, that is a tough division, and Rashaan Evans will help him out. Chicago finds themselves in a position they never thought they'd be in. Calvin Ridley's still on the board. They're going to take him. They have Allen Robinson. They do. But you just invested in Mitchell Trubisky last year. You don't have a 3rd-round pick this year. Go and get Calvin Ridley right away. He's going to help you out. Opposite side of Allen Robinson. They're not going to be able to double team him. They're not. Like, we're going to have probably have Trey Waynes on Calvin Ridley, and Xavier Rhodes will probably be covering Allen Robinson, but I don't really know. It's tough to say. I now have Cleveland selecting Arden Key, who also has some character issues, but I don't hate this guy as much as I hate, like, Rashaan Evans. And I shouldn't say hate. I just, from a football standpoint, I just don't like. I don't know. I think Arden Key with Myles Garrett could really help that pass rush and probably help you win a couple division games. I do think Cleveland's going to be better than Cincinnati this year. I 100% believe that. But I don't know about the other two. I think Baltimore's going to win it. Let's see here. We've got the Oakland Raiders selecting Jair Alexander here. Going to help out with Gary and Conley in the backfield. Their offense isn't bad. I think they need a running back eventually in this draft, just so Marshawn Lynch doesn't have to do everything. But we'll see. Next, I have Miami Dolphins selecting Deshaun Hamilton. And let me tell you, this guy is the best route runner in the draft. He is better than Calvin Ridley. I don't care what people say. He is amazing. Yeah, if you don't have Jarvis Landry, you just don't have a whole lot of help on that offense. I mean, yeah, you guys need a running back, but I just think there's a deeper class of running backs you can get later than wide receivers. It's going to help out Ryan Tannehill, too, and see if he actually is a decent quarterback. Next, New England right here is going to go ahead and select Dante Jackson. And this is a guy who could potentially replace Malcolm Butler if they want to move on and pay some of these other guys. This guy can play nickel corner very well, which will be good for when you got to play in the Super Bowl. Like, it's going to help you out. Like, if you have to play the Eagles again, you probably won't get 40 points scored on you with this guy, as well as Marcus Davenport. Washington now is going to play is going to select Carlton Davis. And I don't think we're going to see a corner targeted more than Carlton Davis this year. Because you got Josh Norman, who plays his own zone, whatnot, and they are not going to throw to him. Like, Carlton Davis is probably going to have to defend guys like Evan Ingram or Sterling Shepard. Probably going to have to defend guys like, who do they got now? Not Torrey Smith. They got someone else. Mike Wallace, I'm thinking. And probably guys like Terrence Williams. It's, yeah, when you got Josh Norman on your team, no pressure, dude. I have the Green Bay Packers, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, but Ogbonia Akarakwo or whatever. Anyway, he's a defensive end, and that's all they should focus on this year is defense in the draft. Don't even worry about your offense. You got Aaron Rodgers. He'll find a way to win. Just focus on your defense and don't let Minnesota beat you, because we're a pretty scary team. I got Cincinnati selecting Orlando Brown. This guy, yeah, he had a bad combine, but I don't know. I think the value at number 46 here is pretty good. I don't hate it at all. Got a couple guys. You can maybe go back to the defense after this in your next few rounds. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of those guys can play guard. I don't know. Help you guys out. We have now the Arizona Cardinals selecting Anthony Miller. And this guy is going to probably be replacing Larry Fitzgerald here in the next couple of years, but Fitzgerald is going to be a great mentor towards this guy, and just going to give Sam Bradford another weapon, so it's pretty good. Now, this is why I think the LA Chargers is going to win. You go ahead, you draft a guy like Justin Reed in round 1, and now you're going to select Ronnie Harrison. This is what the Jets did last year when they selected Jamal Adams, and then they selected another safety. They solidified their secondary. They now have Josh Rosen. I don't know who their running back is. And, actually, who are their wide receivers? Oh, was that one guy who I drafted in fantasy? Oh, I can't remember his name, but he was kicking ass. Like, he was good. But yeah, the Chargers, go ahead, go get that second guy, and you're gonna win your division if you do that. As long as Phillip Rivers stays healthy. That's what I gotta say. Phillip Rivers has to stay healthy, then you'll win it. Next we have the Indianapolis Colts selecting Nick Chubb. Now this guy played with Sony Michel. I don't really like him as much, but they got their offensive line, their guards, so they can now go ahead and finally select a running back, because now they might have some lanes to run. Take some pressure off Andrew Luck. I've got the Dallas Cowboys here, and a lot of people don't really like this. I just don't think there's really a good enough corner here, so I got them selecting Mike Gesicki, the tight end. I don't know what he plays for. I don't think he's really the best tight end in the draft. I think Dallas Goedert is, but I think he's the best fit for Dallas. Jason Witten's not going to play forever. Yes, Jason Witten's a great tight end, but you're going to get another guy who can block, who can help Ezekiel Elliott out, can maybe do some play action in the red zone, and I think being the first tight end selected at number 50 is not too bad. I now have Detroit going up and selecting, not going up, they're staying in their spot, selecting Ronald Jones, the running back. Can't remember who he plays for, but he's a solid running back. And Amir Abdullah, you suck. Like, yeah, I know you guys got LeGarrette Blount, but I think of LeGarrette Blount more of a third and short type back, or like a great goal line back, where Ronald Jones is going to be more of your complete workhorse in the back. Keep Theo Riddick. I like Theo Riddick in their scheme. Just get rid of Amir Abdullah, please. He is just cancer for your team. I now have Baltimore Ravens. They're still not going to select a wide receiver. There's not a good enough one here, but there is a running back that's going to help them out named Rashad Penny. And they're just going to focus on that run game and their defense game. Joe Flacco, yeah, he's got an arm. I think they got Torrey Smith back, so there's their threat. And, yeah, Rashad Penny's going to help them out a lot. Here I have Buffalo selecting Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma. Not the Sooners, I think Oklahoma State. Yeah, Oklahoma State's where he's from. I think I like Mason Rudolph better than Lamar Jackson for this team. Do I think he's an elite quarterback? No. But I think at the 53rd pick, you don't have to trade up. He's worth the risk. You got A.J. McCarron play this year. Let this guy develop. Maybe let him play if you guys aren't winning games. Give this guy a chance. Yeah. Kansas City's finally on the board. They're going to go ahead and select J.C. Jackson. They don't have Marcus Peters anymore, and I don't know. I thought that was kind of a dumb move on there. Maybe there were some character issues there, but gosh, the Rams are just... Oh, the Rams are going to be such a good team this year. I am so nervous when the Vikings play them. But, yeah, J.C. Jackson, that's the next best defensive back on my board, so we're going to have them select it. I have Carolina right now selecting Brian O'Neill. I can't believe Carolina gave Matt Khalil all that money just because his brother plays there. Oh, Matt Khalil was just, he was, I'm so glad we don't have to deal with that guy anymore in Minnesota. Yep, take Brian O'Neill. Cut your losses for Matt Khalil. Matt Khalil can play for, like, New England or Philadelphia, a team I don't give a shit about, really. Now I got Buffalo selecting Dorian O'Daniel. He's a defensive end. Yeah, you got Mason Rudolph, you got DJ Moore. Your offensive line's pretty good. Charles Clay is a decent tight end, and even if you want, you can select one later down the road. Yeah, I think Dorian O'Daniel's the choice here. And, yeah, I think, Dorian O'Daniel, let's do it. Tennessee here, I got them selecting Dallas Goedert, who is actually my number one tight end. Delanie Walker, I could be wrong. I think he's 37 years old. I was surprised to hear that. I did not know Delanie Walker's that old. So let's get a younger guy to replace him. You know, you got Rashad Matthews, Corey Davis, Eric Decker was kind of a disappointment, but Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray, Taylor Lewan, Jack Conklin. You guys got a good offense. Marcus Mariota. You guys have a great offense. Just let's get that tight end to replace Delanie Walker here in a couple years. Now, this next pick, I actually really like this next pick, and I'm going to tell you why. I have the Atlanta Falcons selecting Christian Kirk. You got Mohamed Sanu, and you got Julio Jones. You got some pretty decent tight ends and some decent running backs. Could they use a guard? Absolutely. They could use a guard here. Christian Kirk in the slot. That's where he's comfortable. That's where he's playing. I think this guy is an upgrade over Taylor Gabriel, and you guys are going to go back to where you were when you almost won the Super Bowl. Spreading that field. Getting that running game going, and just giving Matt Ryan more time so he can get the ball out to multiple players. I couldn't believe how many different receivers got touchdowns that year. I had the San Francisco 49ers selecting James Washington, who I believe this is the guy that played with Mason Rudolph. And for some reason, one of these guys is real. Made the other guy better. And it's hard for me to find out. I feel like it's James Washington because I think Mason Rudolph could have done that with other guys too. So I think this James Washington guy, like, I'm nervous to play the 49ers this year if they select him. They're going to have Derwin James and James Washington. Holy shit. Like, just Pierre Garcon, James Washington. Yeah, they maybe don't have a running back. They can get one later, but I wouldn't worry if I was San Francisco. Here I've got Pittsburgh selecting Kyle Lauletta, quarterback out of, I think it's Virginia Tech or Richmond. I can't remember. It's one of those two. Roethlisberger's, I can't believe he's still alive. That guy gets hurt so much. Like, him and Sam Bradford are the two guys that I was like, that I can't believe, like, haven't died yet. Like, it's nuts. I do like Ben Roethlisberger. He's had his problems, but I think he's a changed man. And I think this Kyle Lauletta just looks like a Pittsburgh Steeler. And I think it's time for him to retire here. Not this year, but maybe next year. Then I got Dallas coming up and selecting Deshaun Hand. Yes, they do need corners. I get that, but you have Chidobe Awuzie. You got Scandrick. I know it's scary. You got Byron Jones. Your secondary isn't as bad as it seems. This Deshaun Hand can help out Taco Charlton, Sean Lee, a lot of these guys, getting after these quarterbacks, getting after Carson Wentz or Nick Foles. That's just what you guys got to prioritize right now. And you got to outscore them, too. That's why Courtland Sutton's going to help you guys out a lot. Way better than Dez Bryant. Well, maybe not Dez in his prime, but, you know. Next, my team again, Minnesota. Yay. I'd really like a corner here, but there's just none really that I like that are worth reaching for. So I'm going to kind of copy the Eagles strategy here. I'm going to have them take Harrison Phillips. He's a pretty good pass rusher. I think I have him like as my 5th best defensive tackle, maybe 4th best defensive tackle in this draft. Yes, we have Sheldon Richardson, Linval Joseph. But they're going to need times to take some water breaks. And I think he'd be a good just for rotating. I have Baltimore now here selecting Hayden Hurst, the tight end. He's 25 years old, but Baltimore is a team that's ready to win. This team is ready to win, and Hayden Hurst is going to help out a lot because Joe Flacco loves throwing to tight ends, probably more than wide receivers. And I think we're going to see a much better team coming out. And the last pick of the second round, I have the Browns selecting Kerryon Johnson. Carlos Hyde's going to be the running back this year. He is. But Kerryon Johnson could step in and maybe get some reps, let Carlos Hyde rest a little bit. I think they still have Isaiah Crowell. I can't remember, but he's not the answer. But yeah, thanks for listening to me. That's my mock draft. If you have any questions or disagree with me, please comment. I would love to have a civil debate with you. All right.